Thank you, Dan. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. It's 6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, 44 degrees outside. Shane, my heat came on last night.
Did too, as a matter of fact. I couldn't believe it. Yes. I do not look forward to that day at this time of year when the heater turns on.
I know, and it always
Yeah,
smells, doesn't it? It's been off all
yeah,
summer. It's got that
yeah.
kind of that.
Burnt dust smell.
Yeah,
It's a burnt dust.
yeah, right. Yeah, that old nasty smell. It pops out there, gets going. So,
And you hear it, right?
oh
And
yeah,
then now I'm going to be on a ship for the next 6 months.
right. Yeah.
It's like, have you ever been on a cruise? Oh no, you probably haven't been on a cruise.
No, I haven't been to Yellowstone. Why would I take a cruise?
Depending on how how down low in the ship,
Yeah.
if you're up higher, you feel the motion, obviously, of the ship moving. So
Yeah.
but it's amazing because if you go down lower decks, you can hear the
The engines and all that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the propellers turning. And,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, that's the cheap seats, I guess, down there, huh?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
and the thing is, that's the only place you go down there. It's just a box. You just sleep.
I was gonna say, yeah, everything's up on the decks, and you go up there and
That's right.
shuffleboard and swim and do whatever else
Yeah, they should
whatever they got up there, drink and go nuts.
Yeah, they should park people in boats like they do cars in Japan. Where it rotates up and around because you just sleep in a
Yeah.
bed.
Hmm.
The door opens, lie down, go to sleep. Good night. We'll see you in 8 hours, right?
Yeah. Oh
Anyway.
well.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
well, it is getting cold, and it barely got to 60 yesterday on our deck. So I don't know. Not complaining though. Trust me.
We don't want anyone to think we're complaining.
No.
We're just being opinionated.
That's it. Yeah. Well, today, rain and possibly a thunderstorm before 1 p.m., and then showers likely and possible a thunderstorm between 1 and 2, and then a chance of showers and thunderstorms continuing after 2. The high only 63 today is the high we're looking for, and 80% chance of precip for the day. So pretty nice wet day for us once again. Kind of a repeat of yesterday, I guess. And tonight, rain and thunderstorms again, likely. Then rain after 2 a.m. We're going to have a low of around 46, chance of precip 90%, and new precip amounts between a tenth and a quarter of an inch, and expect higher amounts possible during thunderstorms. And then tomorrow, more of the same, rain, patchy fog between 7 and 8, so be careful on your commute tomorrow. You might want to leave a little earlier if it is foggy and whatever. Highs only near 57 tomorrow. And chance of precip again, 90%, and again, a quarter to a half inch is possible. And then Wednesday night, rain again, likely, mainly before midnight, low of around 41, chance of precip 70%. And then Thursday, we get a little sunshine, mostly sunny, but the high is only 67. And Thursday night, we're clear with a low around 44. And then Friday, it starts getting a little better, sunny with a high of 73. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 47. And then Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 73 and a low of 49 overnight. And then Sunday, slight chance of rain, mostly sunny, high near 76, low of 47. And then Monday, we got a high of 70. So pretty nice once we get to the weekend. But before that, it's going to be nasty, Shane. So.
Oh, and what a surprise.
Yeah, I know, this time of year.
Yeah, it's a big surprise.
Yeah, well, we got some cool temperatures around the area. Livingston right now is checking in at 43 degrees. Manhattan's 42. Three Forks, 44. Gallatin Gateway's 41. Ennis is 39 degrees. Big Sky's 36 down there, up there, depending on which way you want to go. And at the Belgrade Airport, it is 43 degrees right now, and we're right at 45 degrees here at 10 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m., and that's your weather for Tuesday.
Wow, get your chill on, baby.
Yeah. Our poll question yesterday, what's your favorite season? We're pretty seasonable right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Fall was the winner. 50% of you thought fall was the best time of the year, or your favorite season anyway, was fall. 20% like spring, 10% like summer, and only 5% liked winter. So if you're only 5% of you like winter, what the hell are you doing here?
That's a very good point. I mean,
it's winter 7 months out of the year. Come on. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm being optimistic calling it 6. But
some people I should have included hunting season in there because that's going to start here in October.
Well, that's up. Fall.
Yeah, spring and fall was another one. That spring and fall they like both of them. So we'll go with that. I like spring and fall. They're pretty. Yeah, they're nice times of year.
Yes, spring is my favorite.
Is it? Yeah, you're getting everything starts growing, and winter's over, and starts warming up a little bit, and looking halfway nice and everything. Yeah. Let's see. They like fall because we can't take the heat from our text line, 478-8298.
That's great. I love it.
Well, on this day in history, we got to go all the way back to 1608. John Smith was elected president of the Jamestown Colony or the Colony Council in Virginia, what is now present-day Virginia, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, this is so relative because of what Beto O'Rourke made a big speech in New Hampshire about how terrible your country is. And, how the first slave was brought to Jamestown. But, he left that little thing we talked about out, right?
Yeah.
That all the white people were indentured servants by contract.
Right.
He may have been involuntary, but they were forced to sign a contract to be indentured.
I was going to say,
allow John Smith to, do whatever and decide whatever he wanted on his own. And, he tried to establish Jamestown, as you said, in 1607. But the sad thing is that he was so harsh, he publicly stated that he that will not work shall not eat, from the Bible. And anyway, long story short, he did help them get through the first couple of years and then left and did a lot of mapping. He was a mapper, which is sort of cool, and ended up and died in 1631, broke and alone in London.
Wow. What a sad story that was, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean,
he should have stayed in Jamestown.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I guess he was homesick for the old country, huh?
I don't know. I've read a couple of books on the guy. He's a bit of a wiry kind of type.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's a loner.
Yeah. Well, in 1813, Oliver H. Perry sent the message, "We have met the enemy and they are ours." In most cases, we have met the enemy and they are us.
That's right.
But after an American naval force defeated the British in the Battle of Lake Erie in the War of 1812, I want to know how they got ships to Lake Erie.
Well, he built them.
Well, I was going to say they had to build them there. They couldn't. There's no river you could run into the lake, so that I'm aware of anyway. So,
he came from. He was born in South Kingston, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Family of the Navy. His father was in the Navy. His older brother was a Commodore, Matthew C. Perry. But the guy's name was Oliver Hazard Perry. Now, who gives a guy a middle name Hazard?
I know, yeah.
Oh, dear. Could you go call Hazard for dinner, please?
Right, yeah.
Anyway, he was well served in the West Indies, the quasi-war against the French, 1798 to 1800. Mediterranean during the Barbary Wars. We all know about that. The Barbary Wars were the 1801. Yeah. That were the Moors and those Muslims coming out of the Ottoman Empire. Yeah. And in the Caribbean, fighting and the slave trade.
Started our Marine Corps, actually, back then. Yeah.
And he was heroic in the War of 1812. So this battle in Lake Erie, it was in 1813. He engaged the British from Canada and defeated them. And there were several naval victories in the Battle of Lake Erie, all of which he won. There were 7 battles. and he received a Congressional Gold Medal. They didn't have the Medal of Honor yet, but he did receive some. There you go. One of the first great American commanders in the Navy.
Wow, what a guy. Well, let's take care of our, we've got farmers and ranchers and cab drivers and truck drivers and all the people out there we got to take care of. We've also got a Headwaters livestock report. They're going to have a big sheep sale coming up, so you want to pay attention to that if you're into sheep, I guess. So,
oh, wow, okay.
I know. We'll be right back right after the news and ag and Headwaters livestock. It's 22 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, 45 degrees outside. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing, is my co-host. And on the line with me, having a good time this morning, Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. Jeff Krauss will join us at 8 o'clock.
You mean you're admitting to having a good time on a Tuesday morning?
I'm having a good time on a Tuesday morning. I don't know about you. Yesterday seemed to fly by. Yesterday seemed to go.
Mondays are great.
That went zip, man. We just zipped through it.
It's a mad dog race to the phones. I mean, it's great. I love Mondays. Yeah. It's so cool.
It was a pretty fun day yesterday. So,
but usually you complain about it being terrible Tuesday. This is a day that shouldn't exist.
I wasn't even gonna mention Tuesday till you brought it up. So
I had to bring it up.
It gets boring to talk about it every Tuesday. So
that's why it was my turn.
Well, okay. Well, all right. Well, it is Tuesday, like it or not, and tomorrow's September 11th, of course. Big day in history in the United States. So, 1846, Elias Howe of Spencer, Massachusetts, received a patent for the sewing machine. What about that singer guy? What happened to him?
Both, the ingenuity. You look. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've looked at like a very old one in the Smithsonian Institute in Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of his original one. And it is so complicated.
Oh, yeah.
And there are so many small pieces that had to be machined. So to be able to manufacture that on a large scale back in the 1800s, that's pretty impressive. I mean, it really
was, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You had the foot pedal that made it work. No electricity. You had to sit there and pump the foot pedal and make it work. So,
which of course made you feel like a chipmunk, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're running the wheel. Well, in 1919, New York City welcomed home General John J. Pershing and 25,000 soldiers who had served in the U.S. 1st Division during World War I.
Which we talked about, the Rainbow Brigade that came off the Mexican-American border. And, this was an amazing guy. He had a name, John Joseph Blackjack Pershing.
Yeah.
And mostly because when he got to Europe, of course, those Europeans wanted to control the Americans. And he said, no, I'm not putting my American army under any European command. Although he was kind enough to let the African Americans that were under his command to merge with the French army, because he didn't really want to command African Americans. That was a poop ball. But I mean, he had been successful. He destroyed the concept of the trench warfare and said, no, we're just going to blow through this. And
we're not going to sit in trenches and fire back and forth at each other and waste ammo. I'm not going to do that. Charge.
Anyway, the great thing about exactly. He created this forced attack, and it broke through, and then he took roughly 600,000 American soldiers to the heavily defended forests of the Argonne and kept the divisions engaged for 47 days alongside the French, and the Allied 100 days offense broke the line. Ta-da! But I just want you to, this is sort of important. So he was the first general in his lifetime to be made general of the armies of rank. So he was general of the armies. And for that purpose, they didn't have a selected insignia, so he created the four-star insignia. And he also created the 5-star insignia. And there are only a few men that ended up with 5 stars. He did not.
Mm-hmm.
He died before Congress could give it to him.
Yeah.
But everyone should know the 5-star generals. You all know George Marshall, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Omar Bradley, of course, Leslie J. McNair, George S. Patton, and of course Douglas MacArthur. All
right.
5-star generals.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize Patton had got that high. Nobody seemed to like him.
No, and then, of course he died before he got out of Europe, right?
Yeah, I had a car accident that some people are a little suspicious of whether or not it was actually a car accident or whether somebody just doctored his Jeep.
He wanted to fight the Russians. He said, "We got the army here, let's get it done."
That's right. Give me 10 days, I'll make it look like it's their fault. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you would have.
1924, a judge in Chicago sentenced Nathan Leopold Jr. and Richard Loeb to life in prison for the murder of 14-year-old Bobby Franks, a thrill killing that had shocked the nation. Quite a story back then.
It was, and the reason is that here's their defense. Their defense was this was a demonstration of their perceived intellectual superiority, which they thought rendered them capable of carrying out a perfect crime and absolved them of responsibility for their actions because it was the perfect crime.
Oh, okay. So,
wow.
Apparently not, since it got caught.
Yeah, Clarence Darrow, the
apparently
famous,
wasn't that perfect.
Yeah, Clarence Darrow, the famous lawyer from the the Scopes monkey trial,
right? Yeah,
attempted to defend them.
Wow.
he one of the longest summations in a criminal case to that point, 12 hours.
Wow.
He spoke for 12 hours. I think he tried to wear the jury down.
I was going to say, hope they had a bathroom break in there, somewhere, some food.
Well, it might have been an outhouse. That's what.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Back in the 20s, who knows what was in there? All right. We got to take a break. Got Montana news coming up. Fox News, Brooke Foster weather, all kinds of stuff. More from Babel. You want to hear from Babel. So we'll be right back after the news. Stay tuned. It's 24 minutes for the top of the hour. Tuesday, September 10th, 2019. 45 degrees outside. We're only looking for a high in the high 50s, low 60s today, Shane. Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of a dreary day. So let's see. From our text line, 478-8298, my father-in-law said Patton was a little too free with Americans' lives. He served under him in World War II, and that may be true. Patton said a lot of guys, he charged a lot. And hand-to-hand and all that.
Well, that's true. I mean, the logistics, by the winter of 44 were pretty bad because he had advanced so far ahead of everybody else that it became an issue. I'm not going to, answer for that. You can only go by his record.
Sure.
But, he defeated more armies of the German armies and captured more Germans and took more land than any other general in World War II.
Yeah. And
if it hadn't been for him, they wouldn't have broken out from the landing and gotten into the country, and the Germans could have driven them back into the ocean. They could have driven them back into the sea. So,
yeah, they could have. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has their ups and their downs. There's no question. He was just too political. That's all.
For our text line, what are you doing, son? Growing sheep? What's in your pocket? Rocks? I don't know. My pockets are off limits, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't do that. Yeah, hands off. Yeah. Well, in 1935, Senator Huey P. Long, the kingfisher of Louisiana politics, died 2 days after being shot in Baton Rouge. This is one of those fascinating stories. Some states just have radical, like built-in corruption, and Louisiana seems historically to have that. Maybe it's its French background. I don't know. Yeah.
But he was the son of the governor that Huey Long, and I mean he was the son of of the Louisiana governor. Yeah, I think it was Huey Long. The interesting thing about this guy He is one of the, even though he was a Southern Democrat, a racist, an avowed
segregationist.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But what he was a pretty remarkable guy in the Senate and understanding the rules of the Senate. So he's the one who convinced Kennedy of the tax cut, and he worked closely with President Johnson on the New Frontier and the Great Society. So he had a huge impact in your country in the 60s, from 1960 to 68, or up till the time he died.
Yeah. All right. 1948, American bard Mildred Galars, the Nazi wartime radio broadcaster known as Axis Sally, was indicted in Washington, D.C. for treason.
Along with Rita Zuka, they were both American broadcasters employed by Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
Wow. And the amazing thing about it is both of them in the Nuremberg trials were tried. And, following her capture, she was captured. She was the first woman to be convicted of treason against the United States in March of 1940. Mm-hmm. Wow. She was sentenced to 10 to 30 years of imprisonment. And she was released in 1961. She was one of the last women, being two,
yeah,
that were in prison. Okay. But she died in 1988 at 87. So, wow, I don't know. You think you'd want to be around somewhere in Portland, Maine?
Yeah, I wouldn't think. Well, I don't know. I guess Maine. I don't know. You could go down to Bernie's place there in Vermont. Yeah. And you'd be okay. I think yeah. That's probably.
Yeah, I wonder if she had like a swastika flag outside her house in Maine,
Probably.
There
you go. Well, on this date in 1955, Gunsmoke premiered on CBS and ran for 20-some years, I think. It was a long-running black and white TV show. And
that's right. 52 to 61, it was on the radio, which made it famous.
Yeah.
And, 635 episodes, like you said, 55 to 75, 20 seasons, the longest running television show in history.
Yeah.
And Cecil Smith, great writer of the Los Angeles Times, was quoted as saying, Gunsmoke was the dramatization of the American epic legend of the West, our own Iliad and Odyssey, created from standard elements of the dime novel and the pulp western as romanticized by Bunstein and Hart and Twain.
Maybe you better go back to bed.
Was ever the stuff of legend. Okay.
Jeez. Well,
and of course, everybody's favorite actor, James Arness, who played,
Marcia Dillon.
And what was the gal's name? Oh,
Miss Kitty.
Miss Kitty. Oh boy, was she hot! Woo!
Yeah, she was.
Those bar dresses, when they started out in black and white, they weren't so cool, but went to color, they was like, whoa, cool. Hot.
Calm down.
I just woke up.
Take a cold shower or something.
Miss Kitty, I just woke up. Woo!
A lot of people don't know James Arness played The Thing back in the day.
The original Thing.
Yeah, the original movie way back when he was first starting out. And Law and Order is about to break Gunsmoke's reign if they haven't already. They're on a scale to do that. I think they're 21 seasons or whatever. But anyway, we've got to take a quick break right now, and we'll be back in just 90 seconds. So stay tuned. 16 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, 45 degrees outside. Shane and Tom and Half Man, Half Amazing, and Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Coming up at 7:30, we're going to be giving away a couple more tickets to Jay Owen House. He's going to be in town on September 14th. He'll be in here Thursday, I believe, and we've got a couple sets of tickets to give away for backstage passes and whatever. We'll be giving those away Thursday morning. But if you'd like to attend, you can win tickets. There are two ways to do it. One is give me a call at 7:30 when we announce we're taking calls. Or the other way is our app chat at AM 1450 KMMS app. All you have to do is go over there and put in text the word magic to us. Magic, MAGIC, I believe is the correct spelling. Would that be right, Shane, do you think?
I don't know. I thought it was Tiger.
Well, Tiger was yesterday.
I know. I'm just.
So.
I'm paying attention.
Don't text Tiger to us today.
Okay.
Magic is the word of the day.
All right.
So I don't know. Maybe tomorrow we'll have, I don't know.
Hummus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. All right. On this day in history, 1963, 20 black students entered public schools in Birmingham, Tuskegee, and Mobile, Alabama, following a standoff between federal authorities and Governor George C. Wallace.
Yep, this was the last great Democratic stand of segregation in schools by a Southern governor who then later ran for president of the United States and, was shot and ended up, of course, living the rest of his life in a wheelchair. And anyway, the amazing thing about it is that he ran, it was during the 68 election, I believe, wasn't it, with was Humphrey and Nixon and him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he was damned to stand in the doorway of this school and then the state college, and what can you say? The last of the segregationists in the United States of America. This was the tide that turned the whole situation and brought to the forefront the ugliness of white segregation. Yeah, pretty sad.
Yeah. Well,
what else? I mean, there's nothing else to really say about the guy because that principle. I mean, he did great things with the state of Alabama. He did. He brought it into the 20th century. A lot of people moved to the southern coast of Alabama because of the state rules that he changed, and the population of the state of Alabama has more than tripled since that time because of its coast on the Caribbean Ocean. So, and there was good stuff that he did for the state, but you can't get past of him being a segregationist.
So. From our text line, 478-8298, Miss Kitty died of AIDS, and I looked that up while we were talking to make sure that was accurate, and it is. She died of HIV/AIDS complications in 1989. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Didn't know that. So, hey, you don't get this on the other shows,
I hope not.
Well, as good or bad news as that may be to some people.
That was a good setup. I like that, Eagle, man.
Yeah.
We pulled that one off.
Yeah, right. Well, in 1977, a convicted murderer became the last person to be executed by the guillotine in France. Wow.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, you think about this. 1977.
I know.
This thing, we've talked about it at length, of course, because of the, it was invented, back in, during the French Revolution. So it was invented in 1780 something. So I think.
Yeah, I was going to say they've been using it for 400 years. 400 years.
But you read that, you go, really? So for 200 years, that's how they.
That's how they executed people. Yeah.
They didn't hang them. They didn't. They didn't draw and quarter them. They just cut their heads off. They're like, wow.
A little basket there for you to.
Yeah, exactly.
Carry it away in, I guess, or whatever. So. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if that's a quick way to go or not. I remember when my father, when we were growing up, for chicken dinner, Dad would go out and cut the head off a chicken, and the chicken would run around the, run around the ground there until it finally keeled over. So I don't know if the head was sitting there saying, "Hey, what happened?"
Because my grandparents in Billings had a chicken coop. Yeah. And my grandpa would go out and grab a chicken and cut its head off, and then he'd say, "Okay, boys, watch this." And he'd drop it on the ground and run around like it was like, ah.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Very weird.
Okay.
That's what you call one dumb animal.
Yeah. Well, from our text line, 478-8298, Gulf of Mexico is not the Caribbean Sea. The population tripled in lots of places because of uncontrolled population explosion. I have no idea what that means or what we're talking about.
Well, I'm not going to, oh, never mind. The Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, it's not the Caribbean or Caribbean Sea, if
really
how you want to call it. Population tripled in lots of places because of uncontrolled population explosion. So I don't know what we were talking about that triggered that, but
anyway. we were talking about how the governor, helped the state of Alabama expand its coastal population.
Okay.
I don't know. It's to the west of Florida, Alabama and Louisiana. I think that's on the Caribbean Sea. I don't. I could be wrong. I guess I don't know.
I don't know. I need a map. 1988, Steffi Graf of West Germany achieved tennis's Grand Slam, winning all 4 major tournaments in a calendar year by taking the U.S. Open women's title. And Nadal just did his 19th Grand Slam.
I know.
Wow.
I know. And he's like 40 something.
Yeah.
I think Brady, by the way, is 42, playing this year again for New England.
Yeah.
I think that he wants this one last record. He wants to win the Super Bowl this year because, it's the 100th anniversary. And Denver and Manning won the 50th anniversary of the Super Bowl. So Brady wants his own anniversary. He wants to win the Super Bowl in the 100th year of NFL, and then he'll retire. There you go.
I apparently so. Yeah.
Well, they were great football games last night. I'm telling you, they were.
Yeah, they were good. Yeah. Well,
and the one yesterday with New Orleans and the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
In 1 minute, the score changed twice.
Okay.
Wow.
You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen.
It's the last minute of the game.
I know.
The last minute of the game.
All right. Well, calm down. We've got to take a break. We'll be back.
Right.
We'll be back in 1 minute. So
okay.
This won't be long. So
hey, I woke up, didn't I?
Yeah. Have less coffee. We'll be right back right after this. 6 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, 44 degrees outside. We've got Jay Mataub and Half Man, Half Amazing, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor, in the house. And let's see, from our text line, not very often, but yes, Shane, you are wrong on that one. So,
which one's that?
The Caribbean Sea being off Atlanta or not Atlanta, Alabama, I guess. So, I don't know. Isn't that the Atlantic?
No.
Well, you got the Atlantic on one side, you got the Gulf of Mexico on the other side, and
the Gulf of Mexico is right, but it's part of the Caribbean Sea. It is a Gulf of Mexico. But
yeah.
It's anyway. Whatever. I'm not going to argue.
Well, they do call them the Caribbean Islands, right? Or the Caribbean Islands. Take your pick.
That's correct.
That's your
right.
pronunciation. Yeah. So,
correct.
I guess it depends on where the Gulf of Mexico ends, the Caribbean starts, and then the Atlantic starts. So,
right.
So we've got a lot of water mixing there that nobody knows the boundaries of. I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so specifically, I'm going to say this. Truism about what he's saying until they built the Panama Canal. Once they built the Panama Canal, there was an entrance to the Caribbean.
Okay. So
the Mediterranean. I mean, the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
So now it's not a sea.
It's a gulf.
That's great. I love it. Okay, let's go.
It's not a peninsula. It's an island now because we cut a hole through it.
Yeah.
So South America is just a big island now because of the Panama Canal, I guess.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Good. Population of the world has more than doubled since the time of Wallace. Well, that could be certainly because that was a long time ago, back in the 60s.
Yeah.
So 50 years ago, yeah, or over 50 years ago, I guess. Let's see. In 2000, the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical Cats closed after 7,485 performances over nearly 18 years as the longest-running show in Broadway history. And I'm going to take a guess that you saw Cats.
I did. In London, in the round. I did.
Why am I not surprised?
Third row up, and at the beginning, the cast comes in down to the stage from behind. It was a theater in front, and I was sitting on the aisle seat, and this I don't know how attractive she was, but wow, this very well-defined cat in this black outfit picked me out of one of the people in the audience to start, climbing all over, and oh my gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, and then my ex, turned in and looked at this person and said, "Would you be kind enough to leave?" and I looked at her. I go, no, don't leave. This is good.
From our text line, the discussion on the Caribbean continues. 478-8298. South of Cuba, Jamaica, Cayman Islands is the Caribbean.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we got that settled, I guess. So.
Okay.
Not that any of us really care, but... Okay, in 2000, NBC's The West Wing won a record 9 Emmy Awards, including the Best Drama Series. The wife used to watch that. I never did watch the West Wing, so
that's right.
I'm assuming it was a good show. But had Sheen, Martin Sheen?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know that much anyway. And this is pretty amazing, Shane. In 2002, Switzerland became the 190th member of the United Nations. Why did they stay neutral till 2002?
Well, so this is great. I learned this too, and I was talking to someone during a commercial yesterday, because remember he brought it up about Switzerland.
Yeah.
So the population is 8.5 million. Their GDP is $704 billion, which, here we go, per capita, that's $83,000 per capita. And we're talking euros here, too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so here's the story. Under the Constitution of Switzerland, all adults leaving high school at 18 have to go into the reserves for 2 years, men and women. And they're trained in mountain fighting, and they're all issued a gun. Mm-hmm. So when they leave the military service, they take the gun home. So literally 100% of the people are armed in the country.
All right.
This was a big battle with the UN. They didn't, because talk about an armed militia.
They didn't exactly want that, did they?
Yeah. So the UN gave up and they joined.
Okay. All right, we got to pay a couple of bills, and, we don't have to pay any bills. Actually, they're paying us for the ads, so we've got to collect a couple of bills, I guess. Anyway, we'll have some words from somebody, so pay attention.
Okay.
And the news. Pay attention to the news. Coming up at 7:30, we'll give away a couple J. Owen House tickets at the bottom of the hour, so stay tuned for that, and we'll be right back right after this. Thank you, Dan. Welcome back, everyone. It's 4 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, 45 degrees outside. We're going to give away some tickets today to J. Owen House. He's going to be in town on the 14th at 7 o'clock at Brick Breed and Field House, and we're going to give away 4 tickets today. We'll give away 2 at the bottom of the hour by phone, and we'll also give away 2 tickets on our app chat line at AM 1450 KMMS. The app chat is right next to the listen button on your smartphone on the KMMS app. And all you have to do is text the word magic to us, and we'll call the winner of that later in the day. So you'll have time if you can get in the drawing there. If you don't win on the phone, you can still go over to the app chat, and we'll announce the winner of that later in the morning. Well, we'll call the winner late in the morning. We'll tally the votes after the show, and we'll pick a winner and get you going to Jay Owen House. We'll be giving away tickets tomorrow as well, and also on Thursday. We have a pair of VIP tickets we're going to give away on Thursday, and that'll put you backstage to meet Jay and pet the tiger, and I don't know, maybe get sawn in half or whatever you want to do back there, I guess, is whatever they got planned. Jay Owen House will be in here on Thursday, so we'll chat with him about what's going to happen to if you win and go behind the scenes. So we'll see how that works out. We'll give those away by phone, by the way, rather than on the app chat, because we know not everybody out there has a smartphone, but everybody out there, most everybody has a phone at least, So we'll do that Thursday morning while Jay is here with us between 7 and 7:30, I think. I think he's in at 7 o'clock on Thursday, so stay tuned for that at that time. Jeff Krauss will join us at 8 o'clock, and one of the things we're going to talk about, the commissioner said Monday they approved a new hotel on Main Street. Another building going up, Shane. Can't swing a cat without hitting some construction here.
Yeah, that's good.
Commissioner said Monday the building will fill an unused space in town and help meet a need for tourists or those traveling to Bozeman Health Deaconess Hospital looking for a place to stay. They added the hotel's height makes sense off a major city corridor and a block from downtown. So it's going to be at 815 East Main Street, just behind the Jackpot Casino, and with the town pump to the west. So it'll be on that end.
And my only question is going to be...
Yeah?
Oh, come on. I ask him about this every time they put a tower up.
Streetlights?
Oh, God. See, are they going to put a garage in the basement for parking?
Of course
cars?
not. Of course not. Are you kidding me? It's one
The
foot.
water table's too high.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about there. That's up on top of a hill. So I don't know if no, they're not going to put a basement at the bottom of it.
Why would they build? I mean, build 3, 4.
Because that's where people get attacked all the time, in basements and parking garages and stuff like that. You can't put a basement in a hotel.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You go find and search.
I've attacked plenty of people in basement parking lots.
You go search how many attacks in underground parking have occurred in North America.
Oh yeah.
I'll go look.
Well, right across the way from us is the Baxter, which has underground parking, and it's nothing but graffiti and trash. So there you are. Anyway, it's going to be a 4-story, 104-room place, and Commissioner said the building will fill that unused space down there. So I guess we'll see. It starts to look like an extension of downtown of Main Street, Commissioner Krauss said as he looked at the rendering of the building, and we'll talk to Jeff in about an hour in here. And the Bozeman Hotel Group, LLC, is listed as the applicant. Will Ralph with Black Ridge Companies, part of the ownership group for Residence Inn, said construction could begin on the project later this fall. He said the project will likely wrap up in early 2021. So developers changed the design to brick and corrugated metal after city feedback, so the hotel blends in with neighborhood buildings. The hotel will have 124 off-street parking spaces, 34 of which will go in an underground garage. Wow.
Wow.
There will also be 23 parking spaces for bikes. Doesn't say anything about scooters yet, so.
Yeah, we gotta press them on the scooter question.
Okay, so apparently we are going to have 34 underground parking spaces for this hotel, where a crime will be rampant in the years to come. So let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So I remember years ago, my dad and I were talking about that hotel going up by Town Pump there, and they, you just said that they're going to have parking spaces. But one thing I know is when they were building heaves up there, they ran into water at like not even 4 feet deep.
Mm-hmm.
They ran into water. So it'll be interesting to see whether they actually get that underground garage they want, because the water table might be similar right where that hotel is going to be.
Well, they are about the same level up there.
Yeah, they are. So it'll be interesting. I know that was a big reason that heaves took a long time to get started, is they hit water so low.
Wow.
But, it's kind of interesting. They think they're going to add a hotel that is going to be cost efficient for tourists and people going to the hospital, but it's probably going to be something that's a couple $100 a night, just like Element or something else like that. It's really not what they're trying to mask it with that. I think it's not really, it's not going to end up being something cheap that anyone can ever stay at. It's going to be for those high dollar people that, park their Mercedes in the garage. So,
yeah.
Well, that's all I got for you guys.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Yeah, thanks for calling. All right. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we'll see. It doesn't say anything about what the hotel costs are supposed to be. Plans include space for a restaurant and bar and a patio just off Main, small bar and a restaurant with small plates, more meant for guests before they head downtown. So they're gonna have a cheap restaurant in there, I guess. So what do you got, a muffin and a pat of butter or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is one of a series of new hotels going up around Bozeman's core. The Lark, of course, opened on Main Street in Grand in 2015, and they expanded that last year. And Andy Holleran filed plans for a 6-story project called the AC Hotel on the corner of Mendenhall Street and Tracy. And then Kimpton Hotels and Restaurants recently announced plans to own and operate the upcoming hotel under construction in the Armory building. So
there you go.
So we got a lot going on downtown here. We're getting pretty vibrant here for a little podunk town in the middle of nowhere.
Did you say podunk?
Yeah, it's a little podunk town in the middle of nowhere.
My goodness,
Isn't that what we are?
Yeah, that's just amazing. Now, I just hope that doesn't go viral.
Well, we'll see.
Bozeman, Montana, the podunk town of America.
That's right. Hey, there we are. Yep.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
A U-turn with a mayor. That's what we are. Public comment is being sought for Yellowstone Airport expansion. The existing terminal was built in the 1960s and now has sufficient maintenance needs. It also wasn't constructed with current standards in mind, making it challenging to adhere to Transportation Security Administration requirements. So the public is invited to comment on that. There's a meeting Monday as part of an environmental assessment for the project. So they're looking to replace the aging terminal, and they're hosting a public meeting Monday as part of an environmental, it doesn't say what time it is, though. I'm not sure what they're going to do there, but, there it is. Let's see, they'll host a meeting 6 p.m. Monday at the Yellowstone Airport ARFF building, 629 Yellowstone Airport Road. So the Yellowstone Airport facility there will, so if you want to show up at 6 o'clock and comment on that, that'll be happening at 6 o'clock Monday. And so you got a week to think about it and go out and look at the airport, I guess, if you want to. So that'll be coming up.
And don't worry about being late, because you won't be the only one to make a comment, so you'll have to stand in line.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, I guess that'll work.
I just don't want to press anybody at rush hour to get somewhere.
No, you don't want to do that. Yeah.
No.
Well, 6 o'clock shouldn't be. We only have a rush 15 minutes anyway, so.
Is that all it is? 15?
Well, yeah, we don't have a rush hour here.
Really? The rush hour here starts at 6:30 in the morning and goes till 10 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I mean bumper to bumper across the city. And then it starts at 3:30 in the afternoon till 7 at night.
Oh yeah. No, that's the way any big city is.
It's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Ours starts at 4:10. It's over at 4:20.
Why? If someone sneezes and you could interrupt the rush hour.
Yeah, that would be true. Yeah. Yeah. If there's a wreck, it's an extra 5 minutes.
That's right. Well, now remember, you folks my age that get out and walk every day, just remember when you're standing at the corner during rush hour waiting for the lights to change, just take a moment and count how many cars go by during one exchange of lights. And I guarantee you'll see between 30 to 50 cars, and it's over $2 million in value. Like, it's incredible. People don't realize the millions upon millions of dollars of cars that pass them by every day. Huge numbers.
It is huge numbers even here. But yeah. In a city like Vancouver or L.A. or San Diego or New York,
it amazes me.
They've got cabs in New York, of course. But anyway, let's take a phone call before we have to take a break here. 522 Talk is the number. 522-8255. Calling on the morning soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. It's Steve.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Hey, I've got to totally disagree with you about the rush hour thing there, Tom.
Okay.
So if you're going down, or I should say north, if you're heading north on 7th or 19th, any time between like 4:15 and 5:30, there are thousands of cars backed up at every single light.
Yeah, trying to get to the frontage road and the freeway.
Exactly.
To go to Three Forks and Manhattan and all that.
Or Belgrade.
And Belgrade or Livingston, yeah.
Yep. So when you get on the interstate from 7th and 19th all the way to Belgrade, it can be just wall-to-wall cars for that entire hour plus.
All right.
It is crazy, Tom. So we definitely have a rush hour.
I stand corrected then. Thanks, Steve, for bringing me up to speed here.
Well, you're easily forgiven. Your hours, you're home by noon.
Well, yeah, I am. Actually.
That's right.
And there's not much of a rush hour at 4 o'clock in the morning getting in here either.
That must be nice. I come in early just so I can avoid the worst of it. So
all the lights are green, Steve.
Oh,
come into town, they're all green.
Now that's enviable.
Yep.
The only time I get to experience that is when I'm out late.
Yep. Well, the only red light I get most mornings is at Mendenhall in Maine because it stays green on Mendenhall. So I got to trip the light there to make my left to go to the station. So, but otherwise, it's pretty much all green all the way. So. Yeah, it's tough, man. I could probably fall asleep driving here, and I'd never have a wreck.
Yeah, like those guys in that.
They were in a Tesla.
Tesla.
Yeah,
and
the guy's videotaping those two
people. They're just driving along. Both of them are asleep in the car.
Now that you brought up Tesla, you guys just reminded me of something. I have a buddy who recently lived in Georgia.
Yeah,
and he was commenting on even in the Atlanta area. He almost never saw any Teslas, maybe one or two in his time there.
Really? Wow.
And then he came here, and there are Teslas everywhere.
I wonder where you get them serviced. Billings, I guess, huh? You got to haul it over to Billings to get it serviced?
No, I think you have to go to Denver.
Oh, do you? Oh, well, even better.
Wow, road trip.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense to me. Why would so many people live in an extremely cold climate, have an all-electric car, and then if anything goes wrong, you have to go to Denver to get it worked out?
I know. That's, I guess if you got the money, you can do what you want.
There it is.
I assume they got a regular car.
Well, there's so much tech here now, as well as the school. I think that's where all the Teslas are coming from. Those techie people, they got the money, they can afford those Teslas, and it's the newest, technology.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, we still got Oracle here. Those folks are getting paid pretty good. And the college professors, they're all environmental wackos, and, they got big bucks. So,
that or Prius.
That or Prius, yeah.
Have either of you seen one of these SUV Teslas? They're only $35,000.
Yeah. Well,
I have not seen one of those yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a backlog on that for like 2 years, right?
Wow.
And I've never seen one here yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll keep my eyes open. So, well, good luck on 90.
Yeah, thanks. I need
Enjoy.
it every single day. I need prayers on 90 is what I need.
Okay.
Hey, guys, have a great day.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. We appreciate you listening. Thanks very much. All right. We got to take a quick break here. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Hang on. 21 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m., it's Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, 45 degrees outside. We're looking for a high in the, only in the 60s today, I think. Rain all day, 90% chance of rain today and tonight, so chances of getting wet are pretty good. From our text line, Podunk, a small, unimportant, unimpressive, and usually isolated town. I'm not sure, my brother Tom, that Bozeman meets all the criteria to be truly Podunk. That's from Steve-O. I drive around Bozeman for a living. Rush hour here is from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. So there you are. I like that. So I used to drive for a living around Bozeman myself, so I know what you're talking about. There's certain parts of town that you don't want to go into in certain times of day or whatever, but yeah, certain streets you don't want to travel on.
No, not in Bozeman.
Well, I guess that's true. We drove around Bozeman when you were here, and we didn't run into much, did we? Other than road construction everywhere, but.
Well, the only thing we saw was roadkill.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I'm not sure who those people were, but
No, it was a squirrel.
it was a squirrel. Okay. Well, the Montana Department of Labor and Industry's annual Labor Day report touts the strengths of the state economy, saying Bozeman has added tens of thousands of jobs since the Great Recession ended in 2009. State economists say Montana has had enough job openings that worker supply is limiting employment growth, meaning workers benefit as the tight labor market drives wages up. What do you think? Oh,
I don't know, Tom. This is a government report.
Well, I guess that might be true, yeah. Well, over the past 3 years, the number of monthly job openings in Montana has climbed even as the number of workers added to employment roles each month remains steady. State economists believe that it's an indication that it's worker availability, not lack of employer interest in hiring, that's presently the limiting factor on economic expansion in Montana. So work if you want to, I guess, huh?
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you?
You? Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Well, in other news, MSU is ranked among the nation's best universities. They were top universities in the nation by U.S. News and World Report's 2020 Annual College Guide and Rankings. In addition to MSU's ranking of a top public school category and the best national universities category, MSU was recognized with the following rankings. They were number 134 in the top undergraduate engineering programs, number 224 in the top undergraduate business programs. So MSU offers more than 250 academic options across 9 colleges. Wow. So
that's impressive, isn't it?
That's a pretty good deal, wouldn't you think? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And we've got some volunteer work planned. They want to revitalize Bozeman's Memorial Garden. Local organizers have planned a volunteer work day scheduled for September 21st. This is in the Children's Memorial Garden. And they want to get some folks out there to help weed and clean and plant and whatever, I guess. So they've spent months working on the garden, moving out debris, maintaining the plants and trees that are already there. They're still in the process of clearing out rock and making room for flower beds. And on Saturday 21st from 8 to noon, all are invited to help with a project over there at the Children's garden over there. So, Children's Memorial Garden. So
wow.
go over and help out if you can. Let's see, from our text line, 478-8298, 5 minutes of the worst traffic you have ever been in.
That's very good. 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's great. I think that's
yes,
great.
if you say so. So I don't know. So anyway.
That's something to really brag about. 5 minutes.
That's right. 5 minutes. I'll take care of you. Oh my gosh.
That's not even a commercial on television.
Not even, yeah. All right. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to give away a couple tickets by phone to Jay Owen House. He'll be here on the 14th this weekend, and 7 o'clock at Brick Breeden Field House. And we'll give away 2 tickets by phone at 7:30, and we're also going to give away 2 tickets on our app chat. So you don't have to have that in by 7:30. We'll do that later today as more people enter. But go to our AM 1450 KMMS app, download it if you haven't already, and sign up for the app chat feature. The app chat's right next to the listen button if you're already on our AM 1450 KMMS app chat. And that will get you in the drawing. I need you to text the word MAGIC, M-A-G-I-C. Text MAGIC to win the tickets, and we'll put you in a drawing for our app chat. And we'll give away 2 tickets over there, and we'll give away 2 tickets by phone at the bottom of the hour here in a couple minutes. So wait till I announce it before you call, and we'll tell you which caller we're going to take, and go from there. So let's see. In other local news, Debra Lamm has filed for the U.S. House seat. She's the former Republican Party chairman and ex-state legislator. She's filed paperwork to run for the open U.S. House seat that Greg Gianforte is vacating to run for governor, rather. And she was the chairwoman of the state GOP. Then earlier this year, Don Schmidt, sorry, took over the position. Lamb's going to face, she'll face off against State Auditor Matt Rosendale, Corey Stapleton, and Joe Dooling, and Corvallis School Superintendent Tim Johnson in the Republican primary. So a pretty crowded field over there for that deal. All right, time to give away some Jay Owen House tickets. So give me a call, 522-TALK, 522-8255. I'll take the third caller this morning, so be quick. Get your dialing fingers ready, and we'll be back with more right after the news at the bottom of the hour. So 522-TALK is the number. Third caller gets the tickets. We'll be right back. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, 46 degrees outside, and boy, we're looking for a cool day today in the 60s, I think, Shane. So what am I going to do?
Jeff, you can just sit there and contemplate.
Well, that's true. I'm going to sit here and contemplate my navel. Yeah, it's going to be a nice day out today if you like rain. So,
that's right.
Well, hey, look on the bright side. It could be snow, you know.
And by the way, folks, if you're using an umbrella, pay attention to other people on the street with your umbrella. You know, like the one thing I hate.
You mean don't poke them in the eye or something like that, or watch it when you turn around too fast, or yeah.
Especially if you're tall like Tom.
Yeah.
You know, he needs the golf umbrella. All right, that's understandable. Yeah. You know, you could literally walk behind him and stay out of the rain, but you know, if you're not very tall. You know, like the agents we have here. Yeah. And they walk up, and of course, you know, they're totally rude. They will not get out of the way for anyone.
Yeah. Are you height shaming agents?
Well, it's just that they're rude. You know, they'll walk right into you. Like, it's just amazing.
Oh, I see. Okay. They'll walk right into you.
They won't move. They won't move.
They won't move? Okay. Yeah. Well, they're used to Tokyo, you know, where it's wall-to-wall people, I guess. So, I don't know.
No. With umbrellas, not fun.
Yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, you're lucky you do not live in L.A. Well, yes, I am. I've been to L.A. many times, and the traffic there is not what you want. And for all the freeways they have, you'd think that they wouldn't be parking lots.
Yeah, and you're not dodging rain much, just bullets.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. The drive-bys and the road rage. No wonder people shoot each other up on LA freeways. The whole place is nuts.
It is.
And I guess we reported the other day that the NRA is now a terrorist organization in San Francisco or whatever. They've deemed them a terrorist group.
Yes.
So that shows you, I guess, every time you think you've seen it all, you haven't. You
Just
haven't
turn
seen
on
it
the
all.
TV, right?
You have not seen it all. Nope.
Yeah, open your Twitter account.
Yeah, that's right. That's for sure. I don't know. Man, it's a jungle out there, that's for sure. Well, let's see. The state is considering, Shane, they're considering changing oil field waste rules. Montana is considering setting statewide regulations covering the disposal of radioactive oil field waste. I didn't know they had radioactive oil field waste.
I'm thinking. I'm
I
trying
know,
to.
you know a little bit about oil. I'll have to talk to Mike McCormick about that. He was an oil and gas guy. I don't know about that, but anyway, currently rules are addressed on a case-by-case basis when landfills are licensed, and the Billings Gazette reports the proposal by the Department of Environmental Quality would apply to naturally occurring radioactive material. So I guess it just naturally occurs in the ground or somewhere. So I guess it has to come from somewhere, huh? You get uranium and whatever you mine for all these things.
Comes from, Tom.
Where's it come from?
Alien dinosaurs.
Oh, that was it. Yeah,
they were
dinosaurs.
Radioactive, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well,
okay. The ships were so big when they came off the ships, they were, radon dinosaurs.
Okay. Well, the radioactive material is released during fracking for oil and gas. It accumulates in filters used to strain liquid during oil production or in sludge, and the proposed rules would increase the amount of radiation allowed per load brought to a landfill. Got to put the radioactive waste in the landfill. I love this. This couldn't be any better.
This is great.
They're meant to discourage illegal dumping, which has happened in Montana and North Dakota. So, yeah,
right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where we dump it as long as you dump it legally, I guess. So.
Yeah, well,
right.
If you can't disparage your success for natural gas development, it's like, let's come up with another one, like my favorite one was it was going to cause earthquakes.
Yeah, maybe so, I guess. I don't know. The other thing that's come up recently too, Shane, is the schools are getting a little nervous about that schools aren't warning parents of threats. One of the shooters, I think, was expelled every other day for like a year.
Oh, yeah.
You remember reading about that?
I did read about that yesterday and the day before. There were some articles, one in Washington Post, another one in the LA Times, and one out of Florida. I think it was Orlando. Yeah. Like, they knew this guy was bad. Like, he was really, really bad.
Yeah, and they weren't going to give him any, or notify anyone. I guess they notified the cops, but they didn't notify the parents or whatever. So the parents didn't have any say-so in, what was going on there. So.
But he threatened people at school, and they had a hit list in his locker.
Yeah, he had videos and all kinds of things of him shooting guns and everything, and nobody knew about this. And then all of a sudden, boom, here we go. So, there's a school in South Carolina learned that 16-year-old students made videos of himself firing a gun using racial slurs. They alerted police, but not parents. After the videos made it into the news over the summit, the backlash from the parents, of course, came pretty quick. They were outraged that this kid was, not being treated or talked to or something, evaluated somehow or other. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be back in just 90 seconds. Hang on. 16 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, September 10th, 2019. It is 46 degrees outside. What's up, Shane?
Okay, I just checked the second quarter of 2019. All right, folks, Are you ready for this? So the National Institute of Background Checks that's been it was instituted in 1994, and they started checking since November 30th, 1998, till today. Well, no, till July 31st, 2019. 320,524,675 background checks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It exists. And we've gone over what the rules that are already on the books about who can't get, a license.
Who can't get one and whatever, yeah.
This is all a dog whistle.
Well, you're bringing this up. It made me think of something very important here, because Robert Francis O'Rourke, one of his things is he wants to buy back the weapons
and to register the rest.
Yeah, buy them back and register the rest. Well, after consideration or careful consideration, I guess I considered selling my weapons back to the government, but after a background check and thorough investigation into the buyer, I determined the buyer has a history of violence and is mentally unstable. So I've decided I'm not going to sell my guns back to somebody with a history of violence and mental instability. So that'd be a big risk for everyone. Don't they run the risk? Don't they run the risk of a lot of gangs going to people's doors, because they got lots of cash from selling drugs, right? Yeah. Don't they run the risk of a bunch of gangs knocking on neighborhoods and going, I'll give you $1,000 for that, that gun.
Well,
sure, why not?
They don't, the unintended consequences, they don't even think about, right?
Let's see. The reason that students weren't reported was to keep the school student evaluation numbers down to get Obama-era money. So that may be true. I don't know. I thought shale oil was from fossilized plants, not dinosaurs. If so, does that mean my rig is a vegan?
Joke. It was a joke.
It was a joke. Well, in other national news right now, apparently after the National Weather Service Birmingham office contradicted President Trump last week, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross threatened to fire top employees at the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. And after the news in Birmingham noted September 1st that despite Trump's tweet, Alabama would not see any impact from Hurricane Dorian. Trump spent the next week insisting he was right. Ross's threat of firings reportedly came on Friday when he called the NOAA's acting administrator and demanded he side with Trump. When he resisted, Ross reportedly said that the political staff at NOAA would be fired if the situation was not fixed. Later that day, the NOAA released a statement backing Trump and dismissing the tweet from the Birmingham office.
Well, I think this is a very bad case of Wilbur Ross seeing, Biden's comments in Ukraine about firing a prosecutor. I think he was taking this out for a run to see how well it works.
That could be.
Luckily for Ross, he didn't have it on film and it wasn't recorded.
It wasn't on tape anywhere. Yeah. So let's see. From our text line, 478-8298, the reason I bring up Wilbur Ross, North Korea, Kim Jong-il threatened to fire a government official for calling out his mistake. Oh, wait. No, that was our president. Well, I don't think the president did it, but Ross did it. So maybe he did it at the president's direction. Who knows? I don't. So O'Rourke wants the guns taken from the people so that he has a cache of firearms. Okay, I guess. Don't know if that's his reasoning for sure or not, but I guess we'll find out. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we ran the numbers to 360 million guns in your country.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you take an average of $500 a gun, it's like $1.5 trillion. Oh, here we go again. Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah. Well, the other things that are going on, apparently the U.S. and the Taliban talks are at a standstill, Shane. That's not going anywhere. It doesn't seem like anyway. So.
Nope, they shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, not when you attack Americans right before the talks start. That's probably not your best opening gambit. But
and as I said the other day, this does not bode well for your intelligence services, who spend hundreds of billions of dollars supposedly protecting you.
Mm-hmm.
The big argument, we have to stay there and fight them there so they don't come here. Excuse me. We already know the mistakes your intelligence services made in 9/11, especially the FBI. But you know what? If they haven't figured out those mistakes, and to me, you shouldn't be there at all. I mean, and you should have intelligence services strong enough to protect you from an attack. And, they don't do their jobs the second time around. Blame your intelligence services, not the people that attack you.
Yeah, but let's be realistic. Camels can only swim so far. They're not gonna come over and attack us here. So
I like that, Eli. That's good.
They're gonna attack us. So. All right, we got a caller waiting. Shane, I've got to take a quick break here, and we'll be right back in 2 minutes. 6 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, 46 degrees outside, and Shane has been talking to a caller. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Yeah, I've been torturing Shane.
Okay, what do you have to say to you?
Okay. I loved it. What I want to bring up, which Shane brought it up too, I didn't know. Why is America accepting the Bahamas, whatever, the
Bahamians?
Bahamians, they're really bad people. They're Haitians there, amongst others, and who the hell knows who else. But the thing is, we're not part of the Commonwealth. As Shane explained, there are 51 other nations. Why are they being sent to us?
Yeah.
And in the 51 nations, they have to take any one of those countries who are in trouble. So why are we accepting that?
Because we're a compassionate, caring country.
Please, I'm going to vomit on that one. That is very, very, very strange. It's nobody brought that up.
Yeah.
Nobody in the
nobody in the media wants to talk about.
Yeah.
The Bahamas are a member of the Commonwealth. There's 52 countries in the Commonwealth.
Yes.
One of the principal aspects of the Commonwealth when the Queen set it up was that any British person, because they were all originally British, can move from a Commonwealth country to another and they can immigrate back and forth without any restriction.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean.
So why aren't the 51 members of the Commonwealth taking these 80,000 people, right? It
was so underhanded. Nobody, and that's one way of getting coming here illegally, because they're coming under luxury liners here. They should be held under liners till the water recedes and build it up again, like they did for centuries, years, like everybody else does. Look at New Orleans. Mm-hmm. We didn't ship them up anywhere else.
Well, we shipped a lot of them to Houston.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we didn't send them to other countries, but a lot of them did move to Houston.
Yeah, but then they returned and built up. Yes, and those who remain build up.
Yeah, that's true.
What I'm trying to say is that's one way of getting here in America. And then there'll be, of course, all the social services. Once the social services would stop, we won't have all this so-called illegals.
Well, I said if everybody got a bill for all this in the mail, they would.
No, what bill? They have no money.
Well, that's what I mean.
Remember, you come here. There is no candy. And another thing with the candy, the Democrats are not catering to the mainstream liberals. They're catering to the lowest denominator, who's here. and they're promising candy and everything free. Wow. And, there was an episode in the Golden Girls. I don't mean being crass or vulgar, but Dorothy was telling her friends about a little boy who ran for class president or something, a second grader. And he said, if you vote for me, I'll show you my pee-pee. And he won. So what I'm trying to say, the more you give,
the more you get, promise,
huh? That's right. That is what is happening. They're treating them as children and us.
All right.
But isn't that what happens?
That's what happens.
Yeah, but still, as far as those illegals who are coming here, it was so fast, so quick. They should have been sent to other from the Commonwealth.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, darling. See you later. All right. Well, you certainly don't hear that on other shows, so
no.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
So, from our text line, 478-8298, I would suggest an uptick in wage compensation due to the enforcement of our immigration laws and a downgrade of welfare recipients. What's our opinion on that? Well, wages have gone up, actually, pretty significantly. 3%.
3.4% now. Growing.
Yeah. So, the enforcement of our immigration laws, I think it's more Mexico's enforcing the immigration laws. There's no caravans coming any longer since they're stopping them at the border and making them stay in their own neighborhoods.
They've they've sent up over 20,000 men. That's like a division.
Yeah. We will give $500 for a gun worth $3,000. Idiots. Okay. If you want to buy back guns, there we go. Let's see. Also from our text line, 478-8298. I like taking guns first, due process later, President Trump. Well, let me know if there's a law out there that you don't get arrested first and then have your day in court after that. And President Skin is so thin, he gets Wilbur Ross to cover his mistakes with threats to fire people. We could have had Cruz, Rubio, Kasich without all the embarrassment. Well, I would have to tell you, no way would I like any of those three. So we'll be right back with Jeff Krauss right after this. Hey, don't forget, go to our app chat and type in the word magic. Send the word magic to us for 2 tickets today for the Jay Owen House show, and we'll make a drawing later in the day and notify you if you are a winner. We'll be right back with Jeff Krauss right after this. Thank you, Dan. 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. It's Tuesday, September 10th.
Not only do they send me a piece of junk mail almost every day, but now they're interrupting the radio.
They're interrupting the radio station. So, I don't know. These people are nuts. Jeff Krauss is in the house. Shane Matavin on the line from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tommy Glaffier, unelected, but seriously, almost a year in the chair, morning mayor.
Wow, that's a whole lot of temporary
10
guest
months.
host.
10 months we've been here. So, what's on your mind, Jeffrey?
So in the Jeff Krauss portion of the Jeff Krauss list.
That's
okay?
right. Yeah.
Some good news for parents of who take their kids to Petra, and also who are soccer soccer parents. The road, Cottonwood Road, is getting redesigned. There's nothing the commission did. I think enough people pointed out the error of their ways to the road engineers, and they've taken a couple of left turns off of Cottonwood headed east to Valley West, and instead put a left turn in to Classical Way to Petra
Academy.
Off the Cottonwood there, to allow people going north on Cottonwood to turn left into there. So we got news of that last night. I think that's probably the biggest news we got. Of course, we set the levy, held the final budget hearing that no public attended. Hey, 100 million there, 100 million there. We did do the bond. I mean, anyway, that was big news, that left turn in the classical way. I think.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the city and Petra need to work on another exit at the far west end of that. I don't know if
coming
there's
into
enough
Durston,
room.
or,
coming into Durston, so that you could turn into classical way off Cottonwood, and then
okay.
Some no through traffic, but some way to. If you're headed west on Durston, maybe use the westmost exit, and if you're headed east, use the eastmost exit, right? Because I don't believe you're going to be allowed to turn north from Classical Way onto Cottonwood. So, but I think that's an improvement, and I think it'll make it easier to get onto Cottonwood, onto Classical Way, and take your kids to school. And a lot of people requested it.
Okay, I'm supposed to ask you. Closing Cottonwood and Ferguson at the same time, was that just incompetence or spite?
Yeah. Yes.
Both?
No. We're obviously hustling up to try to get the roads done for next year's opening of the high school.
High school, yeah. You got to get all that
and so that's a 2-year program, and both of those both those intersections will be heavily impacted. Mm-hmm. So it really wasn't either one of those. It has everything to do with I don't know if you've noticed, but there has been a massive amount of road building. Mm-hmm. And it is true now that you can take Oak to Laurel Parkway.
Yeah. I did that yesterday.
Did you do that yesterday?
Yeah, did it yesterday. And,
worked slick, didn't it?
Yeah. I don't have to worry about the school or that cross, stop sign or the roundabout or anything.
Construction.
There. If you're going
nothing.
over to, at least if you're going to Durston and go out the way we go.
Yeah.
And if you want to go over to Huffheim, that's a quick way to get over there.
Yep. Yeah. I thought
a faster way to get over there anyway, I should say. Yeah.
I thought that's good. And that'll all be open, I think, maybe before the high school's finished. So we listened to the school board. They told us about their new flashing Go Hawks billboard that'll go up there on what is it called, Van Winkle Stadium. Yeah. So they're putting a new billboard up. We don't have any say in that. The school board.
Scoreboard.
Yeah, scoreboard.
Not a billboard.
Not a
well, little.
How different is that? I'll tell you what, there are 10 sponsor spots on the billboard.
On the billboard. Okay. So I guess it is a billboard.
It absolutely is. And that's not to say that the flashing one in the middle won't say, Universal Athletics half the time, right? So that it's and I think the actual pitch for that was, this will bring in revenue. So show me the money was the famous line from a sports movie, and here we are living the sports movie in our high school district. So we heard that. We set the levy last night. That vote was 3-2.
Who was the other dissenting vote?
EHO, Pomeroy, wanted to. So the tax base went up 20%, and EHO wanted to drop the levy 20%. Or 16%, I'm sorry. The city was always going to take its 4%. So the question of, it won't necessarily go up, can be answered a couple ways. First,
because your bonds are going down.
When did you know the taxes went down? That's one. And two, so there's 101 mills that the state levies. Those are education mills, and then the 6 mill levy for the university. That doesn't float down against the tax base. So if your tax base went 20%, the state gets 20% more. Then there's 4 mills that we have as a city that pay for the fire equipment, and that doesn't float down. So there's 105 mills that applies to your new valuation. The median price of a home, as we estimate it, went from $292 to $354.
Wow.
So that's the median price of a home, up 20%.
That makes affordable housing a little harder to come by.
Well, if you own a home, the good news is your home's value went up.
Yeah.
The bad news is, so did your taxes.
Yeah. If you want to sell it, you'll get more, but otherwise you're going to pay a lot more lot rent to live there.
We set the sale of the bonds, and because of premiums, we sold $2 million less of actual bonds, the face value of bonds, and got the rest in an interest premium, and the effective rate was 2.09%.
That's not so bad. That's pretty nice rate, I would say.
That is a pretty good rate. I'd like to get that on my mortgage.
Maybe,
Thank you very much.
You should have bought some of those negative bonds in in Europe.
And interestingly, there is and you don't know what the effective rate, but the face value of the bonds starts at something a little over 2%, and then the mid maturities were all 4%, and then at the end, they were 2.35. In that range again. So we did have we sold bonds with an inverted yield curve, as some of the economists have talked about.
Yeah.
It isn't a for sure measure or predictor of doom for the economy the way that the wishful thinking in the swamp has been, but and on CNN it isn't.
Yeah.
But we saw it in our own issue here. And so the bond rating for Bozeman, it's not AAA, but it's AA1, which is up from what it has been in the past. We, the health of our economy is a big piece of that.
I would think so. We still seem to have a pretty vibrant downtown going on with Costco and Walmart and
sure.
All the other big boxes we got hanging around here. The couple things close here and there downtown every once in a while. I think we got a restaurant closing and something else going away. But
I heard Clint call in and say, all the empty buildings. I think commercial.
When I moved here in '93, there was a lot of them empty. And,
downtown.
Yeah. And I think there's a waiting list, isn't there, to get downtown space?
Well, I'll tell you what. I watched EHO.
There was at one time.
I watched EHO try to get a place for her restaurant. She's out there on West Main now, and she had a heck of a time finding suitable space. Perkins building is open now. I saw it has a sign, and Clint pointed that out. Hey, it's been closed for a month, right?
Yeah.
So let's give it a few weeks. Yeah. If next year we're still talking about the Perkins building being closed, we'll conclude that we got to do some work on West Main. But otherwise, I think.
Well, don't they? Isn't that going to be a Montana club or something? Somebody was talking about the Perkins going to be a Montana club. Maybe?
Well, it has a for lease sign in front of it, and it's empty. So you could, as you're coming into town, say, "Oh man, what's happening here in Bozeman? They got one empty spot there."
Yeah. Well, I hope they put the flag back up.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
That's a great view coming into town with the flag flying and the bridges in the background there. That's one of my favorite views.
Yeah.
In Bozeman. So, well, we'll see what's going on.
Anyway, so the Moody's or the rating agency's view of Bozeman is really strong.
Yeah.
Investors' view of Bozeman, we sold a lot to institutional investors, but some individual investors, about 3%, somewhere in there for some of the maturities, were individual investors, and they were marketed. You might have seen it in the newspaper and newspapers around the state. They were marketed to individuals as well. So you got a chance to earn some of that inverted yield curve if you wanted that 2.0%.
Yeah.
It's 2.09%, so not even 2.1%. Effective rate for those bonds, and 30 and as a result of the great bond rating and then the resulting low interest rate, over the life of the bonds, taxpayers will pay $7.5 million less than they would have when we estimated the cost of the Bozeman Public Safety Building.
Yeah, I was going to say we've saved quite a bit on where that could have been.
All right. We're spending almost, $40 million. So saving is, it's like those flyers.
Well, every million you save is certainly something.
It is. I just think about it, and you're right. We're saving $7.5 million. I see that as a victory for the health of the economy, the people that invest here,
Yeah.
And the
And
job
the taxpayers
and
too.
the taxpayers and the job that the city, particularly the finance and some of the other staff, I think, really out there addressing the issues that bond raters have. And so I think there's all kinds of things, right? They look to make sure that you have emergency planning, right? They want to make sure that if that if there's a terrible snowstorm in the middle of August and everything breaks, that you have a way of addressing that without affecting the bonds. And we do have those kinds of plans, and floods and fires, and you've seen us, the response to the fire downtown from 2009. It took a decade, but we're finally filling in all the holes. Those are the kind of things that bond agencies look at, right?
Yeah,
in a lot of cities, your downtown blows up, your downtown stays blown up.
Yep.
That's just an empty pad there because nobody can. The owner doesn't have the ability to replace that building, and we're seeing that investment going in, and the crane is the official bird of Bozeman.
Yeah. Seems like that's a good one. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll play the commercials that we're playing over the music when we started, so we'll get those in right now. So we'll be right back. All right, Jeff Krauss is in the house. Shane Matavin on the line from Vancouver, British Columbia. Fly on the wall over there. Are you, Shane?
Yes, indeed. I'm waiting to hear about the parking spaces under the new building.
Yeah, Shane's finally getting his parking under the hotel.
It's daylight. Yeah. It's a daylight basement. I'm sorry to break your.
Okay, so it's gonna be above ground.
So there's a heavy slope there.
I know there is. Yeah,
East Main slopes down to.
Well, somebody was calling in saying they had a real high water table at Heaves, that they hit water about 4 feet down or something like that when they were putting heaves in, and that's slowed their progress somewhat. I don't know if that's.
I'm not sure. The old heaves, there's a high asbestos table at the old heaves.
Well, I was going to say, you got the creek running right behind it.
Yeah, the creek is right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
But they're up on the hill.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, that they're up that high. There shouldn't be a whole lot of water unless it's draining down into some kind of a catch-all under that hill.
No, it goes on down into the swamp beyond.
Yeah.
They call that a wetland now.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're daylighted.
Yeah. So
they're not deep underground like you can only be a gnome or a dwarf to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Dwarf parking only, Yeah. So sorry, Shane.
Yeah.
I was just amazed to hear Tom say the concern is because of the threat of crime. Someone being mugged or robbed.
Everybody's gonna be mugged down there. So.
Well, when we built the parking garage, that was the thing. Many a property owner and business owner downtown said no one will park in the parking garage.
Right. Yeah.
And I told him, I said, the parking garage is already full. You just can't see it from here. Yeah. And there are days now when the parking garage is full. It isn't a regular thing. It's for the big promotions downtown or like Music on Main or something. But there are days when it's full now. And that's before the Armory Hotel comes online. Once the Armory Hotel comes online, that's 70 spaces. So you're going to see people talking about a second parking garage downtown pretty soon.
Yeah. Shane, I'm supposed to tell you that they have snow in Ennis.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So there you go.
They do. They have snow in Ennis.
That's what it says.
And I want to go fishing.
One of our
week.
app chat folks from Ennis is saying, we got snow down there. So,
which means you'd called it right, Eagle Man. You got your job done, baby.
Got the snow coming. So
it's about a week early. Don't we usually have snow the third week of September?
Something like that. Somewhere
without,
in there. Yeah.
Almost without exception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So
it's a good wake up call for the people who moved here over the summer.
Right. Yeah, that would, yeah. Wait a minute. Kids are just in school, and all of a sudden, here we go.
We ought to do a big Game of Thrones banner right over Main Street and say, "Winter is coming."
Yeah.
Right.
Well, 15th is open now, I guess. They got the roundabout done there at 15th. I think I saw the signs gone by McDonald's there. So.
Oh, okay.
I
for
think so.
the
Yeah,
well,
for the
okay.
roundabout
Yeah.
on the new entrance to the high school, I guess, on the back side rather than the front side.
And okay, that's
So,
good. That was mostly a Bozeman High project.
Yeah.
And they came in front of us and told us about the scoreboard / billboard.
Yeah.
I gave them my usual warning that I'm so distracted by the sign on
At the Bobcat Stadium.
No, in front of the high school,
in front
right?
of
The
the high
one that
school.
I'm always reading it, and
Right.
then I forget to look for students crossing at that crosswalk.
Right, yeah. It should say watch for students at the
It should,
the crosswalk.
students crossing ahead, but it doesn't say that. But,
yeah, they need a pedestrian sign or
well, the
something
reason
there.
that we don't allow those kinds of signs is they are distracting, and it's a safety issue. But they don't actually care about that down there in Vegas, but we do care about it here. But I think that I don't think I had too big a problem with the billboard. It's part of the experience of going to a football game, right?
Right.
Is the scoreboard. So
Sure.
I'm not a huge fan of the constant
Stuff
music
going on there
and
and
the incitement,
loud or
all of that.
Hear us.
I was football in the day.
That's
right for me.
Well, you may have seen that Park County's not going to do football any longer.
I did see that. When I first came here and went to work for the railroad over in Livingston, one of Bozeman's big rivals was Park High.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I would think so.
Well,
You're about the same size.
We
back
were
then,
the discrepancy was much smaller, and they were and Livingston was blowing and going. There were 1,000 jobs railroad jobs in Livingston, and there were a couple of I better say this, lumber mills.
Yeah.
There were lumber mills.
I didn't hear that. What did you say?
And people worked there, and they got paid good money to do it.
You speak up. I didn't hear it, really. What did you say?
Lumber mills. Yeah.
Oh, on the river, right.
Yeah, there were.
We got some lumber mills there, so.
And,
can't talk about those, though.
Oh,
that or mining. Yeah.
Mining. And there was big mining in Livingston, as you know. There was a gold mine down in Jardine that Bill Clinton ran off. So, Livingston was blowing and going, and Park High was a pretty good rival for us. We would go to Butte and get regularly thumped, so, we tried to return the favor. Anyway, I was sad to hear that.
It's sort of hard to beat 18-year-olds that have been in a mine shaft all day, digging up copper, right?
Yeah,
there was a bit of national notoriety for what's his name? It's not Red Green, but what's his name? The Montana Tech coach, the one that's always yelling and has all the colorful aphorisms.
Yeah.
He made some national news the other day, and I was like, I've been listening to that interview for most of my life.
I was going to say, every sports he's there. Yeah, we did great. We were such a good team.
Something about his mother-in-law. And to me, that guy, they should put a statue of that guy and says, "This is Butte," right
You're
here.
Right. Man. Yeah, that should be it. Well, I don't know. They, I can understand that with a small school like that, and they don't have enough seniors to field a team. Because sophomores and freshmen and are going to be smaller.
Right. I just don't like what it
injuries
says about,
and everything like that. Is a bad thing. But it kind of.
And I think a lot of parents are not allowing their kids to play football now. Because of head injuries, concussions,
and everything, and certainly you can break a leg, blow out a knee, any number of those things. It's not a pleasant sport.
I know.
Hey, you can do all those things in the theater, They're always telling people before a show, don't break a leg.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
It's so true.
that's true.
Or at the lumberyard or copper mine.
Yeah. Just don't fall off the stage. All right. All right. Jeff Krauss is in the house. We'll be back to talk about more city stuff. We come back. We've got to talk about. There was an article in the Chronicle the other day about Love Lane streetlights.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I know that's not in the city, but we got to talk about it anyway. So, since we like streetlights, we'll be right back with Jeff Krauss right after this. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. Jeff Krauss is in the house, and we've got a caller patiently waiting on the line that Shane's been waterboarding. So let's
Got this one.
let's check that out. Caller, you're on with Jeff Krauss and Tom and Shane. What's up?
I, Daniel R. Peterson, for good or bad, have said that Krauss and I have really essential similarities. Sometimes we do hit a speed bump like anybody. So last week I hit a speed bump with him, but I better sing the praises of Master Krauss this week. The last time I talked to the master was a co-op downtown, so he supports the local businesses one starfish at a time, if you know the old proverb of a person throwing starfish back into the sea that get washed on the shore.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Eagle Health has questioned how much influence a politician could really have on the economy, because the economy is a different kind of animal that's more compromising and negotiating than the political system. Now, do you guys, Sir Krauss, think that you have much influence on the economy of the city, or is it run by more fundamentally different economic systems than you can really tweak it?
So I believe that cities exist because they facilitate commerce, and that creates wealth. I really do believe that. I think cities are fundamental to economies. And so if you're at the confluence of three rivers, you become Pittsburgh, right? Or if you're in a port, maybe you become Seattle or New York. The infrastructure that cities create does affect economies. And so when cities, 16 years ago, and I said, now I'll test this theory and I'll show you one that didn't work. When 16 years ago, when I said I ran for the first time, I said I want us to revitalize North 7th. Well, we've changed the name to Midtown, and we do have some investments starting there. We've got an entryway corridor guidelines. We've put new sidewalks and streetlights in. But after 16 years, I can tell you change is a little bit slower than I had hoped. But you look at putting in a parking garage or putting in a third interchange. What happened to 19th after 19th was built and the interchange went in, or what happened around the parking garage when the parking garage went in? What happened to East Main when the library went in? I think that governments, with their infrastructure in particular, have a huge influence in local economies. So local governments influence local economies.
Well, what I was pointing out is that no matter who's in office or no matter what the government is locally or nationally, General Motors stays in business, Walmart stays in business. They do whatever they have to adjust to whatever government does. Now, some cases, government passes things that are beneficial to business. Sometimes they don't. But the companies always have to react to what's happening from or with government.
Well, I think that the government could pass. I think that could pass regulations that would wipe out industries. That could wipe out.
Could, sure. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think I've listened to the Democratic debates, and I think the one guy that put his finger on the future was Andrew Yang, who said, "Boy, the dislocation of people in their jobs in the future is going to be so huge. I mean, people talk about coal miners losing their job. Well, what happens when the trucking industry changes fundamentally? What happens when the gas industry, gasoline and oil and gas changes fundamentally? That employs a scale 10 times or 100 times as many as coal miners. We talk about media, right? We're sitting here on the radio that in the newspaper industry and dislocated far more jobs than coal mining has done. Yeah. So government, they could pass some regulations that could dislocate a lot of people and negatively affect the economy. And so that could happen.
No, I would agree with that, certainly. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me get here, and then I'll go. Here's a Eaglehoff question, but
all right.
You don't want to suck up too much of Krauss's time. But somebody said that this trade war has really influenced the economy. Do you think this trade war idea of Trump has really done a number to the economy, or it's still just rolling with the punches? I'll go.
Okay. I would say if we didn't have the tariffs, we'd probably be a point or two higher in GDP.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think the inadvertent consequences of government action many times outweigh whatever we were trying to do. Yeah. This is one of those times. Well, I have argued a little bit for tariffs. I think if you're stealing all our intellectual property, then we have to do something about you. And by you, I mean China. Right?
Well, what's the alternative? Do you go back to $500 million or $500 billion in imbalance of trade? Is that acceptable? That that everything comes into the country free, but everything that goes out, you gotta pay extra for it.
I'm just gonna say. Yeah. To everybody, the power is in your hands. You don't have to buy cheap Chinese.
You don't, no
crap. Yeah. Really, you don't. And so I'm hoping that it's the big question, the old question that we have failed to answer as a country. Once our basic needs are taken care of, where do we go from there? And where we've gone is to this mass consumerism of cheap stuff.
Sure.
How do we move on from that to some other model? The Star Trek model, I always call it, not to get too philosophical, but what are those people doing on that starship anyway? They're not getting paid. Everything's happy in the future, according to Star Trek. So why are those guys in the red shirts beaming down with Kirk anyway? They're gonna die.
Yeah, I know. That they will for sure. You see the guy in the red shirt. That security is. It's going to end up on that planet.
It ain't going to be Kirk. It's going to be you.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I don't know. What is but I believe Americans as a society need to answer that question. So when we talk about future shock, when we talk about which candidates out there in America are saying anything that speaks to me, Andrew Yang is the only one that actually said something to me outside of on the Republican side. And his discussion about the future shock of dislocation, job dislocation, is a big one. I think a really big one. And you may not agree with that universal income thing, but I don't know how you deal with the anxiety of entire industries going away. This we talk about the haberdashers going away in the 50s, right? Yeah. And the Edsel factory closed or whatever. But I'm going to tell you this. First of all, this is not the 1950s, and second of all, it ain't going to be haberdashers. It's going to be something very fundamental to this economy. Many things fundamental to this economy, as artificial intelligence and robots and
everything else comes in,
and electric cars come in, and the gas stations go away. And there's a lot of towns out there that the old Westinghouse plant closed, and the people that could got a job at the Pilot gas and truck stop on the interstate. And when that starts going away, I don't know what's left.
Yeah. All right. We got to take a break. We'll be right back with more with Jeff Krauss right after this. Hang on. Well, it's not getting near dawn, but hey, we'll take it. It's Tuesday, September 10th. Jeff Krauss is in the house. Shane and Tom on the line. Tom Eagle off your morning mayor. We got a caller. We're patiently waiting. Caller, you are on with Tom and Shane and Jeff. What's up?
Well, about the driverless cars, I mean, it doesn't work if the road is covered with snow and ice.
Well, that's certainly...
So half the country is probably never going to be driverless.
Well, there's certainly that I have always wondered about, that with, everything that operates based on GPS or things like that how fast do you go? Is the car going to know it's on ice or it's not on ice?
Well,
or
it's not going to know it's not going to know where the road is.
Well, that's true. Yeah, if you can't,
it's not going to be able to navigate. It's not going to know where the road is.
Yeah.
GPS isn't going to tell them where the road is.
Well, I hope it tells them where the ditches are.
No, it's not going to tell them that either.
Yeah.
Those driverless technologies rely on lines on the road, being able to see the center line and the sideline.
Yeah.
If they can't see that, they're blind.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think.
Well, we have a long way. We have a long way to go, I think, on the technology of this.
So I don't think the trucking industry is going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, even though Tesla's got the electric diesels, they still have somebody behind the wheel.
They can't drive on the snow.
Yeah. Well, they've got to have somebody behind the wheel.
They got to have somebody behind the wheel.
That they do.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for the call. All right. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, it's getting near dawn, right? As the song said. And those damn streetlights are finally closing their tired eyes, right? Mm-hmm. We read about that in the paper this weekend. The Montana Department of Transportation went out on Love Lane and lighted the earth like an operating table.
Yeah.
And if you look at the picture in the Chronicle, it's hilarious. The streetlight lights the top of the house across the street,
right?
50 yards away.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you right now, there is absolutely no public good in lighting the top of someone's house or their bedroom or, lighting the roof. We don't need to know.
Yeah.
Maybe you have something on the roof.
I don't think there's
squirrel or whatever.
Gonna go up there, crawl around, and breaking your house from the top.
They're not trying to read the King James Bible on the roof, so you don't need to light that. Montana Department of Transportation.
They've been trying for years to get a picture of Santy, and they have no good lighting. So, come on.
All right.
Don't be a humbug now. Don't be a humbug.
So there are any number of things, reflectors, lowered speed limits in front of, before leading up to the intersection.
Yeah.
And much shorter street lights. Now, the industry standard, of course, is to light it like a billiard table or an operating table.
Yeah.
That's the industry standard, oddly enough, was developed by, hold your breath, the industry, right? So it does sell a lot of street lights.
Yeah.
We want
to sell a huge street light. We don't want to sell a small street light because,
if we could only get just one light in the sky that would light Bozeman at night just as bright as the sun does in the daytime, we'd probably adopt it because it'd be cheaper, right? You know, and never mind sleeping. But I think it was that picture was a perfect example. The number of streetlights. Yes, you need one at the intersection, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And perhaps you need one a little ways away from the intersection. But they can be much shorter. They can be shielded so the light only goes to the other side of the street.
Well, look at North Wilson, or South Wilson, I should say. I mean,
they don't go that far.
I haven't seen anybody tripping over the sidewalks on South Wilson and suing the city for not having adequate lighting along that street.
So do you know what adopting the national standards will do for your town?
Yeah,
it will make your town look like Generica America.
All right.
And that's what's happened on the west side of Bozeman. No one's paid attention as we've adopted these national standards. And now people are going, well, that doesn't even look like Bozeman. Yeah. You're right. It looks like anywhere USA because we have adopted those bonehead standards.
Yeah, you go out 19th or South 19th, the Brontosaurus lights they used to call them.
Yeah, the Brontosaurus lights.
There's like 10 of them in 100 feet or something like that.
And that was the IESN standard, which is the industry standard. And, you could have put the speed limit at 45 because people are going to turn in there, and then you could have lighted the intersections and called it a day.
Called it good, yeah. All right, we got to take another break. We got to get the Rush update in here and Cashman Nursery, and we'll be right back right after this. Welcome back. It is 4 minutes before the top of the hour, Tuesday, September 10th, 2019. Dr. D.R. Peterson needs to turn his radio down. Very annoying, so I turned the radio down, and most of the time turn it back up after 9. Well, you shouldn't do that because the Surgeon General says touching electrical appliances is very dangerous, so you shouldn't ever turn the radio down, particularly when we're on. Yeah. So let's see for Jeff. I'm going to paraphrase this because it's kind of a long question, Jeff. I read it to you off air, and what they're looking for is long-term concerns. What are your long-term concerns, I guess, regarding Bozeman? And one of them you talked about was water.
Yeah, I think even more so than water, the biggest future shock facing us will be wastewater. Okay, the concerted efforts of the citizens of Bozeman now are cleaned in a state-of-the-art plant that's barely able to get licensed, and then dumped into the East Gallatin River there.
Right. Yeah.
And it's very difficult to meet those escalating DEQ and EPA standards for getting that, for being able to put it in the river. And I think the future shock will be when those standards exceed the technological capacity of any plant anywhere. I believe. At some point, EPA/DEQ will do a pigs must fly on the citizens of Bozeman, and then we're going to have to figure out another way to deal with our wastewater, sewage treatment. And that's probably the biggest one for me. Water, yes, the city commission, as it's currently constituted, repeatedly 4-1 has relied on drying up your grandmother's rose bushes as a way of supplying water to the next 500 people that come here. They are not building new water storage or new water supplies. They're taking the water from you and your yard and giving it to someone else. And then they have a thing that's called drought planning. And drought planning is planning on keeping the utility alive. They're only going to offer you a cell phone service every other day. They're only going to run your water every other day, but they're going to charge you as if you're getting the same water and you're getting the same cell phone service. That's an analogy,
and we'll keep the plant,
and
open.
It'll keep because those families got to eat. So it's really not a drought plan. It's a plan to keep the utility going by charging you a lot more for a lot less. And I don't see that as natural resources planning. That's not. That's just and this whole idea of drying up the downtown and the old parts of town so that you can add another 1,000 homes, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
Either we stop adding homes to the water supply or we develop our water supply, one or the other. We need to have that conversation as a city. But when you can have your cake and eat it too, when you can pretend that you're doing something about water supply while bemoaning growth, then you've got your cake. You can have your cake and eat it too, or eat your cake and have it too, whichever way that thing goes. But you're not really doing resource planning, and that's a problem in this city.
Yeah, we've always seemed to have an anti-growth policy here, with impact fees and all the other things that were tacked on that were supposed to slow growth down, and they haven't done that. But I agree with you that we're going to have some things in the future.
Those are 2 days of reckoning there. And
I don't think there's any status on Winco yet. We just got to think about that.
It'll be in the paper.
Still in limbo.
Yeah.
Okay. Winco's still somewhere. So we don't know where. But anyway, say goodbye, Shane.
Goodbye, man. Thanks, Jeff. We'll talk tomorrow morning. Good, sir. Be happy, be safe, everyone. God bless.
Also, on your app chat, text MAGIC to us to win 2 tickets to Owen House on 14th. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow.